Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Stephanie Rose and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I figured I would do a sort of reading ritual for you guys. My reading ritual is pretty darn basic and I basically do the same thing every single time. Everything else that I might do for reading, it varies, but this is the main thing that I do and the main area that I sit in. I have 3 or 4 or 5 different parts of the house that I tend to read in, and it all depends on my mood or what part of the day it is, or what I'm reading on. Because if I'm reading on my Kindle, I'm that much more likely to read before bed after the light has been turned off. So, but anyway, before we get into that, I'll explain what I mean by I've been torturing myself. One surefire way to get yourself interested in a book is to read samples off of Amazon, which is something that I have kind of been doing. So I've actually found 2 or 3 books that I really want to read just based off of reading the sample. And in fact, I've already done it once. I already have been planning on reading this book, but I still got a sample off of Amazon anyway. And that was Across the Universe by Beth Revis. And I did finish that book and I really enjoyed it. But reading just the first couple of chapters got me super interested. And it seems like that's like a sweet spot probably for books, because I think they only do like 2 chapters for all of their samples. Oh, and I did it for The Color Purple as well, like back a year or so ago. I got a sample and then decided that I might as well shell out and read it, and then I read the entire thing. Read the entire thing in a day. So, what's that face for, cat? And then I read a sample of The Hazelwood, and that's why I put it on my reading list, and I still haven't read it yet, but that's okay. It's in my bookshelf. I'll read it later, possibly next month. And then after that, I went for a while without getting samples, and then I read a sample of Across the Universe, and then I read a sample of Wool by Hugh Howey, and I really, really want to finish reading that. It fascinating. I thought it was going to be a completely different type of book than it was, to be honest. Most recently, I got a whole slew of samples. And so the first one of those samples that I read was The Sudden Appearance of Hope by Claire North. And now I really, really, really want to read that. And then last night before bed, I read the entire sample of Magic Bitter, Magic Sweet. And I'm fascinated by that as well. And I also read a sample of Golden State by Ben H. Winters, but that one didn't catch me quite as hard. I read about it in a news article, so I'll probably still read it. And then I have a couple other samples in here that I haven't gotten around yet to. But no, I'm torturing myself by reading samples of books and then getting hooked, but not being able to read them yet. I need to see if the library has them, or if Kindle Unlimited has them. Because if Kindle Unlimited has them, then I'll just shell out for another month next month and read them. But anyway, so there's that. In the rest of the video, the book that I'm reading is The Alienist by Caleb Carr. It started out really slow for me. I am just starting to get really into it, and I'm about a little under a third of the way through, I'd say. It is very interesting, but it is also worth noting that the issues that it is dealing with are occasionally very disturbing. And so this is definitely not for everybody. There's sexual abuse and many different types of phobias. So it was a very different time. It's set in the late 1800s. So yeah, as it is set in such a historical time, and Whether or not it is truly representative of the society of those times, it certainly sounds very authoritative, and um, so it's very interesting to read, even from a sociological standpoint. Not that I'm much of a sociologist, but I do find sciences like that intriguing at the very least. And there's a lot of psychology involved and a lot of historical figures, and it's set in New York. So it's fascinating, but it is disturbing. So, not for the faint of heart. Anyway, without further ado, Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that well enough. I'm just here to close out the video. If you want to follow me on Instagram or Twitter, the links are in the description below. And thanks for watching. And I will see you next time. Bye. I actually like that. It's cute.